Great function on Saturday. Everyone is busy running about, so but it's good.
Okay, just to give us a clear picture and to start it off, I want us to, and our viewers to understand, when you talk about the National Seminary Gaba,
yes,
what is this? Who are these? Is it a union of farmers? Is it, one would mistake it for an association of people who do work in a market. What is the National Seminary Gaba? Okay,
first we need to know what a seminary is.
Absolutely.
A seminary is a school training people who want to become priests, to serve as priests in a church. So in the Catholic Church we have seminaries, both those who teach philosophy and those who teach theology, but we also have minor seminaries, which are basically high school seminaries. They teach all what other high schools teach. So, but a National Seminary Gaba is a theology seminary.
Okay, yes. And still, before I go to Father Vincent, Father Charles, are there any other like this one, or this is the only one we have?
Okay, in Uganda we have quite a number of them. First of all, the high school seminaries are everywhere in the country. Each diocese has its own.
Oh, okay.
And now these major seminaries, the philosophy and theology, we have two.
Okay.
One is in Katigondo, Masaka, and another one is in Alokulum. Those are the national seminaries, which means they belong to the Episcopal Conference of Uganda, the Catholic Episcopal Conference of Uganda. And then we have the theology seminaries. We have one St. Paul Seminary Kenyena in Fort Portal, and then we have National Seminary Gaba, where we come from. But also we have another seminary that belongs to Kampala Archdiocese. It is called St. Mbaga. It is also in Gaba. We are just next to each other.
Okay. Yes. Now cross over to Father Vincent, and I would want to ask something related now to particularly, let's look at the National Seminary in Gaba. Take us through just the history of this seminary, just a brief history of this seminary. When was it formed, why was it formed, and who formed it?
Yeah, certainly this seminary has got an interesting history and a background, in the sense that in the first instance, seminaries were regional. That is, we have, for example, Lacho, which actually catered for the northern part of Uganda. And then we had also the Katigondo, which catered for the southern part of Uganda. And then we had also the seminary, which catered, that is St. Mary's, but catering the central part and the kind of the eastern part. So in the course of time, there were these kind of divided seminaries. And as time went on, especially around the time of independence that actually had arrived, and the bishops were more becoming very kind of national, having kind of a national consciousness, they decided that there should be a seminary that has not these kind of divisions, in the sense that should have one seminary whereby caters for all the people of Uganda, because we are moving towards independence. And it was in this sense that they tried to put these kind of seminaries together, and they decided that Katigondo be that particular kind of experiment, beginning with the Katigondo, to gather all other seminarians who are in other seminaries. And then in that process, they would also decided also to divide the kind of the disciplines, because earlier on you had Katigondo having theology and also having philosophy. But in this case, they pointed out that it is better that Katigondo has the philosophical part, that is philosophy alone, and then the next seminary which they were actually going to form, particularly that is Gaba, should have the theology part. But this had already this became actually a necessity, because when they joined the kind of what you call the aspect of national seminary, it was Katigondo. Katigondo was a kind of pioneer in that particular kind of project. And so many seminarians were brought from other seminaries, and it somehow flooded. So they had to create this seminary, Gaba, as an alternative also to that particular kind of flooding. And so you have Gaba National Seminary being also formed. That is in that year, 1970, around 20th September. That was when National Seminary Gaba was formed. But at the same time, this seminary Gaba was a transference of what had been there earlier as a regional seminary, Gaba. In this particular kind of case, it was also quite actually St. Mary's, but then of course later in that place they put there the Gaba Institute. So this one now, instead of putting it in that particular kind of place, exactly Gaba, they decided, the cardinal at the time decided that no, you should get a place where you can build also, you put your buildings and the rest of that. So then actually that place, that new place was called St. Mary's Gaba, but with that kind of national character, trying to move to the aspect of unity, that the people who are trained there should do, or the priests should be one in character, and also try to promote that unity also in the whole country, so that there is harmony in the country, being also engineered, spearheaded by the church through the seminaries trained in a national seminary.
Wow. So clearly, Father Vincent does give us a brief picture of how it all started and how it ended up where we are today. But back to Father Charles, as we do celebrate 50 years,
yes,
quite a milestone.
Yes.
If you may also, for me and our listeners and viewers out there, over the years,
yes,
what has been the contribution of the National Seminary to the growth of spirituality and probably religion, and later on to the Catholic Church, that gives us worthiness to celebrate this milestone?
Thank you so much. That's a very important question. Of course, we know that the Catholic Church is key in the development, not only on the spiritual matters, in wherever it is, but also in development of other areas. For example, education, health, so many other areas. But in the matters of spirituality, Gaba National Seminary has produced close to 2,000 priests, wow, who are serving all around Uganda and outside Uganda. Because some seminarians come from Sudan, others come from Kenya or Tanzania. So we are everywhere, almost 2,000 priests. And the work they do out there is incredible, developing people in different ways. And we have, so far, Gaba has produced 19 bishops. And you can imagine what a bishop does in his diocese. It's a lot. In all areas, development, education, health sector, we are everywhere. And so Gaba has contributed to this nation, not only to the church, but to the nation at large, to develop our people, to sensitize them, to counsel them, to cater for their spiritual and social needs. The contributions are great, great.
But now back to Father Vincent, and probably this I should have asked much earlier. Who qualifies to be in Gaba? Because when you talk about the celebrations today, people may start calling, or you see people at the gate of the National Seminary wanting to join because you talked about it as a center of excellence in terms of theology and all these things. Who qualifies to be in Gaba?
Actually, there are qualifications to be able to arrive there. There is also a background, especially in the line of study. We have generally with regard to the training of priests, you have what you call minor seminaries in the various dioceses. These cater for the young people who have got that, young children or pupils who have got that that interest, that call. They are trained at that level, and these seminaries are at the level of the secondary. So they study all the various subjects. Yeah, exactly. Like Chisubi, Bukalasa Seminary.
Yes.
And they study all the various subjects which other secondary school students actually study. But at the same time, there is that particular interest on the aspect of spirituality. And so you have already spiritual directors within these kind of small seminaries. So they try already to have that kind of interest and that particular kind of orientation. And then after they have finished, for example, O-level, like all other students, then when they qualify, they do their A-level. And then after doing that A-level, finishing it also well, then they are promoted. They are promoted to the seminary, to the what you call the major seminary. But at that time, not theology, but philosophy. So with regard to Uganda, we have got some kind of philosophical seminaries. We have a Loculum and also Katigondo. For us, in our mainstream, those are the seminaries which feed us from the philosophical point of view. Having studied the philosophy at Katigondo, or having studied philosophy in Arukulum, and once they have gone through successfully, then they do some part, what you call, it's some kind of intern.
Pastoral.
Yeah, pastoral. There's what you call a pastoral spiritual year, which is actually supervised by the various dioceses. We have got something like 19 dioceses in Uganda. So each particular diocese take care of those seminarians as they are in the pastoral year. They spend a year in a parish. Sometimes they can also, half of that year, they can go in another place also for the kind of training. So in this particular period, a person reflects about his own life and sees how good he is and what God exactly wants for him. And then you find some others decide to go away, others actually continue seriously. So after that, pastoral spiritual year, then there is the application to the Gaba National Seminary. And then that's where the sorting out actually comes. So they invite them, give them invitation letters, and of course we expect that the diocese does a very, very great work in the screening of those who have succeeded and being sent to Gaba. But then there could be also others who have not been in the minor seminaries, but after they have studied, done other kind of works, but they said, I think I would like also to serve the Lord. So there is that kind of striking thought. So also these ones can, through their diocesan authorities, can be helped to be able to apply to Katigondo or Alokulum, the philosophical part, and then after also going through that pastoral spiritual year, then come to Gaba.
Okay.
So there is a long story there.
All right.
Some 4 years, and then here, by the time one finished, actually 8 years are required.
Oh, so it is at the what you call minor seminary?
Yeah, there is a minor seminary.
It will be 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years.
And then
minor seminary is 6 years.
6 years.
Oh.
6
Because
years.
it's high school.
oh, okay.
Yes.
Let's say from Chisubi, it's 6 years. Then
Yes.
you go to Katigondo.
Yeah.
3 years.
For 3 years.
3 years, then 1 year.
One intern.
Then
Internship, yeah.
Yeah.
the 4 years at the national.
National Seminary.
Wow. Okay. Now, having looked at that, and that gives quite a clear picture on what you see. Normally, I remember when the government came out to say that people should study, ministers should study a bit. I guess this was this is why we saw the fear in most of our colleagues in different denominations. But far from that, coming to you, Father Charles.
Yes.
We are talking about this anniversary.
Yes.
What is in plan for the seminary? Do we see, are we inviting the Pope? Is the Pope coming? Are we lucky we're going to see the Pope again? What should we expect? Are there celebrations? If they're there, where will they be, and what is the program like?
Okay, first of all, the chief guest will be the nuncio to Uganda, Archbishop Louis Bianco, and the main celebrant will be Bishop Anthony Zwa of Chindamitana, who is the head of the Catholic bishops in Uganda. And the celebrations are going to begin with the OBs. We cannot forget the OBs.
These are priests.
Both priests and lay, because there are some of those who never made it to priesthood.
At that point, there are people who don't make it at national seminary.
Yes, though the percentage may be quite low, but they are there. They are there, and so they're all welcome on Friday. We have what we have called an OB night. So they are all welcome. We are going to eat and kind of a reunion. Many people have not met their classmates for a long time. Indeed. So we thought that we need to give them some time to meet and talk and chat.
So the celebrations will start on the
eve.
That's the Thursday.
That's Friday. Friday 11th.
11th
Friday. And the whole evening is for the OBs. And then on the day, Saturday, Mass will begin, of course, at 10. But we shall begin by officially opening a monumental building, which has been constructed over the past year. And also a new gate. We have a new gate, a beautiful gate, to mark this occasion. It's a very big occasion. So, and then we also expect many visitors. We expect government officials. We expect MPs. The Lord Mayor will be there. The Minister of Kampala promised us will come. The Speaker of Parliament at least will send a representative, and so many other dignitaries will be there. And everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome, because this celebration is not about only the seminary, or those who have gone through the seminary. As I said before, the seminary has contributed to this country, to the church and to this country. Many people are sharing the fruits. Can you imagine 2,000 priests out there, the work they are doing? Everyone is sharing in their work, and so everyone is welcome. The feast is for everyone, especially the Catholics who are sharing directly in the fruits of Gaba. Are all welcome. You don't have to have a card. Come, let us thank God for this gift of the seminary, the gift of priesthood, and of course our bishops will also be there. All the bishops, we expect all of them to be there, because many of them have been OBs of Gaba Seminary. So it will be a big day, a wonderful day.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you talk about the day and what will happen,
yes,
that brings into question, and probably I'll stretch to Father Vincent. What, in the lenses, we've been through 50 years, quite beautiful thing. What are the expectations henceforth? What do we see? What do we envisage as we celebrate 50 years? The beauty is that the people who are there put these foundations for us to celebrate. Where do we see the seminary? What are we optimistic about in the future?
Yeah, actually, it is important that we are celebrating this year, the 50, the Jubilee, and also in the history of the Bible, especially in the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, they speak about these kind of divisions. You speak about the 7th year, whereby the land should have some kind of rest, agriculture, so that it kind of recuperates some kind of energy, and then actually can also continue. You have also the aspect of the seventh, the kind of the 7 days of the week, whereby the 7th day there is the worship of the Lord. Any other work actually stops, and then you have also this aspect of what you call the Jubilee. Brought out also in this book of Leviticus, explaining about what you call a year of liberty, kind of release, especially the 50th year of liberty release. So in that 50th year, within Israel, there was that aspect of releasing all those who Israelites who had dates, who had lost their kind of land or family, in that year, they were supposed to have them back. So year of liberty, year of reflection. So now when we look at also the Gaba, which has gone through a number of years up to now the 50th year, certainly there are a number of things which have come on board.
Sure.
The kind of the development, the people who have been trained and how they are spread, both those who have not managed to actually reach priesthood, but they are working in very important positions in the country. So all these actually bring some kind of produce. But also there is that aspect of certain things have not gone well. That aspect also has to be looked into. For example, the national seminaries, they were formed to have that nationalistic character and to bring about also unity in the country. To what extent have we succeeded? Certainly at that area, I think we still have something to do. How have we influenced, for example, the issue of the human rights in our various dioceses as people trained so that people can live in peace and harmony, everybody aware, but so that the presence of somebody who has been trained in a national seminary, his presence is a sign of peace, the presence of peace, the presence of reconciliation. Have we done that particular aspect? What about the various conflicts that we have had in the country? How have they come about? As if they are not 2,000 priests who have been trained. What have they been doing in wherever they have gone that we are still also having these problems? We're supposed to continue to dialogue. How are we influencing the dialogue in the country? Are we actually in it? Are we talking the same kind of language? So these are questions that we have to ask our national seminaries, especially now GABA. To what extent have we gone with regard to the pacification of our country, to the harmonious living together, and all that? I think so. There is something actually to be done in the kind of the process, and that's where we are looking at that seminar. We have already had a lecture, on the kind of a conference on the with regard to this jubilee, and this particular conference was involved in the evaluation also of the seminaries, especially GABA, and its future. So its future actually lies in being able to spearhead also this aspect of unity, this aspect of peace, and that had to be able to have its influence felt in the country. Okay. Yeah.
Now also to you, Father Charles.
Yes.
This celebration.
Yes.
Very, very quite vivid. But two things I want to ask you. One is, aren't we late in the celebrations? It looks like when you talk about, you said that it was opened in 1970.
70, yes.
1970.
Yes, 1970.
Yes.
We are in 2022.
Yes.
Why are the celebrations now? And on top of that, do we have a theme for this particular celebration?
Okay. Thank you so much. I think I should begin with the theme. The theme for this celebration is with Mary in gratitude to God. Ooh. With Mary in gratitude to God. Because this seminary was entrusted to Mother Mary. St. Mary's National Seminary. And she's the mother of a Christian.
Definitely.
And she was so grateful for what the Lord did for her and burst out in a song, Magnificat. Blessed be the Lord. My soul glorifies the Lord. My spirit rejoices in God, my Savior. He has done great things for me. So with Mary, we are also grateful for what God has done for us in Gaba and wherever we've gone. And that's what we are going to begin with. And it's not late to celebrate in 2022 because actually the 50 years were in 2020. Oh. Because it was started in 1970 to 2020. That was 50 years. Actually, it was, the pioneers came in January from Katigondo, and they were already deacons. And some of the pioneers, like Monsignor Ndamira, is working in Secretariat. Monsignor Gervas Mukasa is at St. Augustine. But those came as deacons from Katigondo in January 1970. And then the very official opening day was 21st, actual October 1970. It was October. And so it is 50 years already, but COVID did us service. We couldn't do anything in 2020. So, but even after that, we said we cannot just overlook this. Thanking is something that is almost a law. Thanking, the English say, he who thinks, thanks.
Oh.
Yes.
That's quite new.
So when we look at what we have gone through, we must thank, whether it is late or we have to thank the Lord for this. Yeah. Now we have a little bit of space and people can gather. So we said it's not late to thank the Lord. Every time we have the time, we can give up gratitude to God.
Okay, time is running also fast, and I'll go to Father Vincent there. Your last remarks about these 50th celebrations in the National Seminary, any particular remarks and the message out there to our viewers? Probably also you can invite them.
Yeah, dear brothers and sisters who are listening to us over there, we thank you for listening, and we are here to speak about the celebration of the Golden Jubilee of Gaba. It is a time of reflection about what the Lord has done for us, and to thank Him for this particular celebration and whatever we have achieved. But at the same time, it is also an occasion to try to correct those things that have not gone well. And in this particular case, there is that aspect of the influence over our country, Uganda, with regard to peaceful coexistence. That we as people, there should not be anything to divide us, neither politics, neither race, nor tribe, but we should acknowledge ourselves as people having one God, one Father. And if we acknowledge this, certainly the celebration of the 50 years of National Seminary Gaba, in the process of trying to move this particular program, will not have been done in vain. I continue to thank you for listening, and I invite you, in the name of my brothers and sisters in Gaba, to come together on the 12th November to celebrate this day.
Father Charles, your last remarks.
Thank you so much. First of all, I thank you for inviting us here, hosting us on this wonderful TV, UBC. It's my first time.
You're welcome.
I'm so grateful to be here, and we thank the entire management of this TV. And our viewers out there, those who are connected to Gaba, those who have shared the fruits of Gaba. Priests have done great things everywhere they have gone. This is a time, this is a day for us to thank the Lord. Let us come. You are all invited, wherever you are. You are all invited to come. First of all, the OBs on the 11th of November, that's Friday. You are all anticipated, highly anticipated. Let us come and reunite, see people you have not seen in years. It's a wonderful thing. And let us begin with praising the Lord, thanking Him. And then the following day, everyone is welcome. And we would like also to caution those who will be coming that day that the traffic jam is quite so high on Gaba Road that day, particularly because KIU is going to have graduations that day, so the traffic will be quite tough. If you can come a little early, we shall be grateful. So we begin in time and also end in time. I can also say that we cannot be shy of appealing to whoever can help. No, the church is always working in charity, We are the church, and we have to build our church. We are the ones to build the seminary. It's not about only money for the celebration, but now we realize an increase in vocation. So many students are coming. Seminarians are getting more and more, and the space, the residences are getting occupied. We need to expand. So there are so many projects that we need to do. So it's not late. If someone feels that he has something that he can offer to Gaba, so that we may continue to do God's work, to train people to go to serve in his vineyard, that is also very welcome. And lastly, I would like to thank you all for viewing, and we are looking forward to receiving you that day.
Well, thank you so much, Father Vincent and Father Charles from the National Seminary, Gaba. And clearly, all our viewers out there, please make it a date on the 12th to go and be a part of these very beautiful celebrations. I know for a fact that it won't be in vain, and it's worthy celebrating. We thank you so much for listening and also watching Good Morning Uganda and UBC. Now we will take a break. Ruben will be coming in with the sports updates. Good morning.
That's right. The Voice is coming to a city near you. From the 21st of October to the 10th of November, you get a chance to showcase your talent. Prepare a 1-minute MP4 video of yourself singing and upload it to thevoice.africa to register. Make sure you have a valid Airtel number, and if you're shortlisted, you will be contacted to come in for the live auditions.
Well, don't just stand there.